Okay, picture this. A powerful king, King Kaushika, right? He meets the sage, Vasishtha, who seems, well, outwardly simple, but has this inner strength.
Mhm.
And the king, he has armies, everything, but he wants this one thing. The sage has a wish-fulfilling calf named Nandini.
Yeah, and that desire, that single desire kicks off this whole conflict, really makes you ask, where does real power actually come from?
Exactly. And that ancient story, believe it or not, is the perfect way into what we're diving into today.
It is fascinating, isn't it? How that initial sort of grab for something material
Yeah.
ends up teaching this profound lesson about inner strength. It's more than just a story. It introduces the core ideas we'll be exploring.
Absolutely. So today we're doing a deep dive into the Gayatri Mantra, its essence, the practice. We're using the book The Hidden Power of Gayatri Mantra as our guide here.
Right, the one you, our listeners, share those excerpts from.
Exactly. And our goal is to really unpack the most important bits of this very ancient, very respected mantra and understand what it could potentially mean for you.
And tying it back to Kaushika for a second. His first move was all about external power, right? What he could own, the weapons he could get.
Yeah.
But exploring the Gayatri Mantra reveals a totally different kind of power, one that's, well, inside you already.
So for anyone maybe new to this, the Gayatri Mantra, it's a major Vedic mantra, super revered across lots of different traditions within Sanatana Dharma. It's a big deal.
And that widespread acceptance, given how diverse Sanatana Dharma is, that tells you something, doesn't it? It suggests there's a fundamental truth there that really resonates.
Okay, so let's break it down. The full mantra starts Om Bhurpuva Svaha, but the part you hear most is Tat Saviturvarenyam Pargo Devasya Demahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. And basically, it's a meditation on that divine shining energy savitur, asking it to light up our minds, guide our intellect towards wisdom.
That last part, Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat, that's the key bit, isn't it? A prayer for our intellect, RD, to be stimulated, inspired towards right understanding.
Right.
Which connects directly to dispelling ignorance, a theme we'll see popping up again and again.
And, the book makes this interesting point about Sanatana Dharma, maybe thinking of it less as a strict religion and more as a way of life, a philosophy.
Yeah, that's crucial.
And that perspective, the book suggests, helps explain something pretty remarkable about India's history, this general lack of widespread religious persecution, despite, incredible diversity.
It's a really important point. Focusing on a way of living rather than rigid rules allowed for more peaceful coexistence. The book even mentions 4 pillars for a meaningful life based on this.
Oh, yeah.
Careful speech, using resources wisely for yourself and others, and eternal gratitude. These really lay the groundwork for inner growth, which fits perfectly with mantra practice.
Okay, let's get back into that Kaushika story. His big clash with Sage Vasishtha was all about Nandini, that wish-fulfilling calf.
Right, and Vasishtha's point was profound. When you're fulfilled inside, then you can manifest what you need.
Such a contrast. Because Vasishtha, as a sage focused inward, he used Nandini's gifts to help others, provide for people.
Exactly. His fulfillment wasn't tied to the calf itself, it was internal.
But Kaushika, he saw Nandini purely as a tool, material gain, power for his army, expanding his kingdom. Totally different motivation.
And predictably, maybe, when he tries to just take her by force,
Yeah.
total failure. Humiliation. They show the limits of brute force against, well, spiritual power.
But he doesn't give up easily. He renounces his kingdom, does this intense tapas, like a deep penance or invocation.
Directed at Lord Shiva.
Right, to get powerful divine weapons, astras and shastras.
Yeah.
He still thinks external tools are the answer.
He's still stuck on that external track, isn't he? He's just swapping one kind of worldly power for another, missing the main lesson.
So then, round 2 with Vasishtha, Kaushika comes back, armed with Shiva's weapons, defeated again by the sage's inner power. This pushes Kaushika to pray to Hiranyagarbha.
Which is like the ultimate cosmic source, the unmanifested reality. So he's really aiming high now for power.
Yeah. And eventually he gets the Brahmastra, supposedly the most powerful weapon.
The peak of external power, you could say.
But even that, not enough against Vasishtha. And this is where Vasishtha delivers the core teaching.
Okay.
He basically says, true power isn't stuff you own or abilities you have. It comes from your inner being, connecting with your inner divinity. He even throws down his staff to prove the power isn't in the object.
Wow. That's the turning point. A direct challenge to how Kaushika, and maybe how we think about power, shifting from looking outside to looking inside.
And that realization, it changes everything for Kaushika. He drops the quest for weapons. Instead, he throws himself into penance again, but this time.
What's different?
His focus is entirely on the well-being of all beings. That shift transforms him into Vishwamitra, a Brahmarishi, a top-tier sage.
Vishwamitra, friend of the whole world. The name itself shows that complete turnaround from selfishness to universal good.
And here's the kicker. It's through that awakened state, that inner purification, that Vishwamitra attains the Gayatri Mantra. He perceives it, sees it as the essence of the Vedas, the thing that banishes ignorance.
Ah, so he didn't invent it. He perceived it through his own transformation.
Exactly. And the book makes this really vital point for us, for you listening, because Vishwamitra did that incredibly hard work.
We don't have to.
Essentially, yes. The well has already been dug, as the book puts it. We don't need that same monumental initial effort.
That's actually really encouraging. The path has been paved, in a way. The power is accessible now.
Which leads right into the book's next point. The power of mantras in general is huge, it's real, and it's accessible. They use that analogy of music's emotional power.
Yeah, how a song can just hit you, bring back feelings, memories.
Instantly.
It's fascinating. The idea is that sound itself, the vibration of the mantra, can stir up things deep inside us. Tendencies, feelings, emotions, even knowledge or wisdom, maybe even cities.
Cities, those latent powers.
Right, things developed over lifetimes. Though the book is clear, these aren't really the goal to chase after. They're more like natural side effects of deep, dedicated practice.
Good clarification. And another key point the book makes, chanting Gayatri isn't about asking some outside deity for favors.
Right.
It's about firing up your own latent energy, your inner power. Connecting with the deity, Savitur, helps with focus, visualization.
And manifestation, ultimately. The deity acts as a focal point, a symbol to help you tap into your own inner resources.
So the practice itself, the Sadhana, the book talks about purity and awareness being crucial. It mentions the 4 states of mind.
Sushupta, Jagrita, Swapana, Turiya, deep sleep, waking, dreaming, and the transcendental state.
Right. And the 3 planes of existence, Bhu, Bhuva, Swa, the physical, the conscious, and the sort of true self realm.
Understanding these gives context, doesn't it? How mantra practice isn't just surface level. It works on all these different layers of our being.
Moving us potentially from just the physical focus towards that deeper awareness.
And the book really hammers this home. You have to chant consciously, with feeling. It can't just be rote repetition.
Like that funny story they tell about the parrot.
Yeah. The parrot chanting, freedom, freedom, but still stuck in his cage.
Or the person chanting food, food, expecting someone to just bring it.
Exactly. It highlights the difference between just making noise and actually engaging with the mantra's essence. Intention and feeling are key.
They outline 4 types of chanting too, going from outer to inner. Vachika,
Audible chanting,
Upanshu,
whispering,
Manasika,
mental chanting.
And a japa, where it feels like the mantra chants itself within you.
A progression towards deeper internalization. They even give that technique for mental chanting, the dripping tap.
Oh yeah, visualizing each syllable dropping like water to improve focus.
Little tools like that can really help quiet the mental chatter.
But the bottom line, the book really stresses this.
Yeah.
The main goal of Gayatri Sadhana is self-purification. Without cleaning up internally, those cities or powers won't really manifest properly. True progress shows up differently.
How so?
Reduced restlessness, less anger, more compassion, tangible changes. There's that anecdote about the guru telling the disciple to track progress by how easily they get disturbed.
That really grounds it, doesn't it? It's not just about mystical experiences. It's about becoming a better, more balanced person day to day. Less reactivity is a good sign inner work is happening.
Okay, let's quickly cover some practicals from the book. Gayatri is called the seed of Vedic mantras, right? Vedmata.
Meaning mother of the Vedas. Shows how fundamental it's considered. Its 4-part structure, Chatushpadi, even connects to the 4 Vedas.
Huge significance there. Timing-wise, the book says start on a full moon day, keep the time consistent, morning or night.
And it's open to pretty much anyone, regardless of background, even during menstruation, which is sometimes a restriction in other practices.
Though they do advise abstinence for a Purushcharana, that's a more intensive period of practice, and diet. Strict vegetarian, no onion or garlic.
These guidelines create a supportive container for the practice. Discipline helps inner harmony, and the inclusivity is really notable.
They also mention using a lamp brass, ideally, with ghee or sesame oil. And this interesting bit about seeking permission from the Divine Mother before starting.
A simple ritual after sunset. It's about setting the intention consciously, showing reverence and humility.
Right. Then there's Purushcharana, those invocation rites. The book mentions a comprehensive 36-step version.
Wow. At a brief 7-step one, thankfully.
Yeah. Key thing is pick one and stick with it. The brief one includes purification, honoring the guru, invoking deities, pranayama, breathing.
Mantra chanting based on your vow, sankalpa, offering the japa back to the deity, japa samarpana, and seeking forgiveness for mistake.
Provides a clear structure for those wanting to go deeper, with options for different levels of commitment.
Makes sense?
Now, to really see this power in action, the book shares this amazing story about Kalavati.
Ah yes, Kalavati.
A widow, couldn't read or write, lived in poverty, but through chanting, she became spiritually radiant, just glowed.
Such a powerful contrast between her outer life and inner state. It shows transformation isn't about education or money, right? It's about devotion.
Sincere devotion, yeah. The story mentions her making accurate predictions about your family, showing how intuition sharpened.
But with that important note, emotional attachment is needed for predictions to be accurate. Can't let personal feelings cloud it.
And there's that touching story about her daughter getting burned and Kalavati humbly asking her mother for help.
Shows that spiritual development doesn't mean you become totally isolated or stop needing others in practical ways. Her humility was striking.
She also predicted you'd go abroad, and later, when you tried to help her financially,
She was reluctant at first, very detached from material things.
which echoes Vasishta again, right? That inner fulfillment lessening the need for external stuff.
Definitely a parallel there.
And you had that really intense experience receiving a blessing, like a slap from her when she was in Hava, that deep spiritual state.
Yes, that felt like a culmination of my own separate Shiva Sadhana practice.
Mhm.
It was profound, hard to describe fully. Shows how spiritual energy can transmit in unexpected ways.
The story ends with her just completely immersed in chanting in her final years, looking youthful despite her age and having a peaceful passing.
A powerful testament to a life dedicated to the mantra.
Her whole life becomes this living example of the book's principles, really showing the potential of Gayatri Sadhana.
It truly does.
So, wrapping up our deep dive here, the Gayatri Mantra, seen through Vishwamitra's transformation and Kalavati's life, comes across as this incredibly powerful tool for interchange, accessing your own divine energy.
And the core message seems to be that external power, like Kaushika saw it initially, is temporary. Real, lasting power comes from inner work, inner cultivation.
Which is exactly what the Gayatri Mantra facilitates, and Kalavati shows that this path is open to anyone, regardless of circumstance, if the devotion is there.
And the book consistently highlights, it's not just about quantity, how much you chant. It's the quality, mindful, consistent practice focused on self-purification that's far more important.
So the thought we want to leave you with is this. Just consider the potential here, the potential for accessing inner power, for real transformation through mantra practice. Maybe this dive into the source material has sparked something for you.
Reflecting on Kaushika's journey really brings home that initial question, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where does true power lie? His story points inward, toward the very thing the Gayatri Mantra cultivates.
Absolutely. And if you are interested in exploring more, well, you could read the full book. Maybe look into those 7 steps for the brief invocation.
Or even just take away the importance of intention and awareness, applying that to whatever practices you already do. It's about the quality of attention.